Remember when PETA made video games? Do you guys even remember PETA at all? It's been so long since I've heard anything from them. I guess you could say they fell off. But for those of you that don't know, PETA was basically a social organization against animal cruelty, although they were also committing animal cruelty themselves, I think. Basically just a bunch of people that were assholes to people that ate meat. But anyway, this video isn't about human nature. It's just me playing a Pokemon game made by PETA. Battling Pokemon grew in popularity. Children learn about dominance instead of compassion. Children also started bullying each other. I think you can understand the entire gist of the story from that. Now you see, the main gameplay of this game is like normal Pokemon, except you're the Pokemon and you beat up the humans. And as you can see, the art actually looks kinda good. The art style does kinda hit, just as much as how Charon is about to hit Pikachu with a baseball bat. And also, the attacks here are pretty interesting. Like, this guy just threw a bunch of choking collars at Pikachu. They went crazy with this game. But anyway, after we beat Charon, Pikachu does a talk no jutsu and tries to explain to Charon that abusing Pokemon is bad. But Charon, he doesn't want to hear it. After all, he has a Tepig who loves being abused by him. But then Charon gives Tepig the choice of whether she likes to be abused by him or not. And this may shock you, but Tepig chose to not be abused. Anyway, after that, Tepig joins our team and we get to the overworld, which looks like something straight out of a Sonic.exe game. Like, why are there just bear traps all over the place for no reason? Who sprayed blood on the trees? But honestly, I kinda like it. It's just taking things so far to the point where it just becomes kinda goofy and funny. Anyway, after that, Nurse Joy comes in and tells us how she's so against all of this stuff that people have been doing. I mean, she was fine going along with it when nobody was going against this, but now that the Pokemon are starting to fight back, she's suddenly no longer okay with it. Well, after that, we fight against Professor Junifer, who is looking very beautiful. She's got blood all over her. She's spreading her legs like she's about to take a dump. She's missing a shoe, so all of you foot people can. So anyway, we start actually battling her, and this time I took out Tepig to test her out and managed to beat the professor with the power of a petition. Honestly, this is probably the most useful a petition has been in America. So after we beat Junifer, we talk no jutsu her for a bit, and she learns the errors of her ways, and then disappears into the ground while we get a new Pokemon. Our next opponent is the final boss of Black and White, and I gotta say, he's got a sick outfit. He's got a pitchfork and a coat with Pokemon skin on it. It actually does look kinda cool. It's kinda badass. Also here, they kinda break the fourth wall and tell us about the Black and White ending and the plot twist at the end of Ghetsis being a villain, which honestly is kind of ironic because Ghetsis is kind of the perfect example of what PETA is, at least the higher ups at PETA. So anyway, we start battling Ghetsis, and he does have some pretty cool moves. Ghetsis did manage to kill one of my Pokemon, so it wasn't a perfect victory on my part, but we still beat him at the end, so it's not that big of a deal. After we beat him, Snivy gives him a stern talking to, telling him that eating and wearing Pokemon is not good. Pokemon don't exist to be eaten and worn like clothes. And then, our final opponent is the one, the only, Ass Ketchup. Where did he get that hat? Ash is evil. He doesn't actually love Pikachu. Here, Ash just wants to make money from the Pokemon entertainment industry. So basically he's like Nintendo, I guess. Anyway, after we beat him up, we did a talk no jutsu again, and Ash has learned his lesson. He has decided to stop abusing Pokemon for money. He is going to start freeing them all. That's right, boys. It's the title. They did a title drop. Truly a masterpiece. Yeah, after that we just win. And that's the end of Pokemon Black and Blue. Now on to Red, White, and Blue. It seems Ronald McDonald is gonna be the main villain of this one. You might be wondering how Ronald McDonald made his way into the Pokemon universe. We'll explain that as it goes. For generations, humans have claimed to love Pokemon. But if Pokemon came to our world in real life and saw how we treated animals, would they feel that Pokemon games games have a part in reducing our empathy for animals? Would they feel like it's completely ridiculous that Nintendo releases two versions of essentially the same game and then has the audacity to release a slightly different version a couple of years later? So yeah, as you can see, this game is gonna focus a lot more on the animal cruelty. Also, the shade they threw at Nintendo about releasing the same games over and over again is actually kinda good. So anyway, we start off with a mysterious stranger attacking a injured Miltank. After Miltank faints, Pikachu comes in and he beats up the stranger with hugs and protests. So after he beat him, he talks about how Pokemon and animals are things to be abused because the Pokemon universe told them so or something. If you couldn't guess, this guy isn't from the Pokemon world, he is from our world. First of all, I don't know how he gained the technology to teleport, but he does, and we decide to travel into the portal after him. I'm not sure what town contains fences that are just covered in blood. If you guys live in an area where your fences are covered in blood, please let me know. So anyway, we explore this place for a bit until we reach a McDonald's and come face to face with your average McDonald's American. Anyway, this guy talks about how he's getting a Happy Meal with all the Pikachu toys and stuff, and Pikachu starts complaining about how these burger restaurants are using his likeness for evil things. And after a little bit of back and forth, we start having a fight. Nothing too notable about this other than the fact that this guy apparently does a DDoS attack on us. So anyway, we beat this guy up and his childhood is absolutely ruined. And then he says that Pokemon games are just meant to be fun, and why are we taking things so seriously? But then Pikachu starts talking about how the real world animals are being affected by everything and how they're being abused. And first of all, Pikachu, what the hell are you talking about? You have been in this world for like 2 seconds. Hearing Pikachu get all philosophical and crap over stuff that he should know nothing about is just kinda dumb. And after that, we meet these people who are not a part of Team Plasma. They are PETA. PETA self-inserted themselves into their own Pokemon fan game. This is just so cringe to the point of just becoming funny. So anyway, after we talk with the PETA protesters, we continue walking through this bloody town. Seriously, why the fuck is there blood all over the place? But after walking for a bit, we meet up with knockoff Jesse and James, and we fight them with the power of Miltank's titties. Now unfortunately, Miltank's titties were not enough for us to beat them, and we actually lost this battle. By the way, did I mention that these are the first Pokemon games I'm ever playing? So my first loss in Pokemon history is from knockoff Jessie and James beating up a Miltank while she's desperately trying to defend herself with her titties. After that, we meet up with Ash Ketchum again. He followed through the same teleporter as us and immediately decided to join PETA. Because you know, PETA is just such a great organization. So after that, we meet up with Ronald McDonald, the king of the Big Macs. And I gotta say, his design is actually kinda cool. He looks like a Sonic.exe creepypasta kind of villain. It's kind of ironic. PETA, in their quest to make all these meat eaters and McDonald's look like villains, actually ended up giving them some of the coolest designs. So after we defeat McDonald's, we take off his mask, Scooby-Doo style, and we see that he is just some random guy. And then the Pokemon discuss whether people will change and McDonald's will stop being dominant, and then that's the end of the game. So yeah, that was PETA's parody of Pokemon. Honestly, they weren't that bad, I guess. They were just some short little propaganda games that were kind of funny every now and then. I mean, some of the concepts they came up with were just absolutely hilarious. Anyway, that's kind of it for the video. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you disliked it, subscribe if you wanna, and that's it.